Okay, good afternoon, everybody. On a Saturday, everybody's like, wait a second here. Let's do some Q&A. Simple questions. We'll start simple, and we'll start with the rant. And the rant. If this is you, you're going to struggle. You're not only going to struggle in trading, you're going to struggle in life. Your wife's going to kick your ass. Your boss is going to kick your ass. Everybody thinks you're an idiot. Okay? And this happens frequently. More than I would think. And what is that? People wake up at 8:35 and they try to log into Fidelity or Thinkorswim and says, my system doesn't work. Or I'm having a problem. Or they try and log into our site and they said, I can't log into chat. Maybe they changed their location. Maybe they went to a different internet carrier. Who knows? I don't know. But who wakes up 5 minutes before you're about to trade? Do people really do this stuff? I see people telling me, Sam, I have a $40,000 profit, but I can't sell it. I can't get through. Why are you not on the phone to Thinkorswim 30 minutes early? Am I lying? Is this you? I'm trying to put in orders at 7:30 just to make sure that Fidelity's screen is working. And Fidelity works 98% of the time. But I put in an order and I cancel it a minute later. Right? And why do you do that? You do that so you're ready to trade. You just cannot do what some of you people do. You cannot say, my kids start school at 8:15. I got to go take them to school, but there was traffic. I have 10 Amazon calls. I bought them at 8 and they're $100, but I had to take my kid to school. I think your kid could miss some school. I couldn't sell it, Sam. I couldn't sell it because I was between two soccer moms in their minivans and I couldn't get out of the parking lot. I don't know what to tell you, except it cost you $50,000. You could have hired a nanny. You could have taken your wife. You could have sold your position before you left. You could have had her late. You could have let her stay home and enjoyed that extra $50,000. What can I tell you? That's the simple rant. How, if you are trading, are you not up at a minimum 1 hour early to go through news? Or you're on my call and I give you all the news. Next lesson, 101. Simple lessons. I got this video out there. Watch it again, watch it again. Things that you have to get better in. Okay? This is more of a Q&A thing, so I'll start that in a minute. But I'm just telling you, okay? Don't force trades. Had a position. Had a guy tell me, Sam, I sold my Amazon. You rolled up the Amazon. We sold Amazon at $100 from 7. Wow. So many contracts. But then I bought the 1075s at 12, something like that. But I only put in 10% of what I made. So let's say Sam made 50 contracts or 500 grand. Just making up numbers. Maybe not. So he put in 50 grand. You make 500 and you give back 50. Are you crying? So let me tell you this. So let's say, and this is as logical as it gets. So let's say Sam didn't sell them at 100. Then he doesn't buy the next ones. And let's say he didn't sell them and he waited a half hour and Amazon got to 2020. So now that's $70. So Sam gets 70 on 50 contracts. That's $350K. He didn't get $500K. But he got $500K and he put back in 10%. He put back in 50. You made $450. Is making $450 better than making $350 because you held them? Now, technically, you had one winning trade and you have one losing trade, and you're up 450. But I completely understand that some of you didn't have Amazon and you tried to buy the second layer. Why are you going to buy something up 150 points is beyond me. Why did we buy it? Because it got to 2120, and if it was going to take off, you make another 50 points, and if you sold the original one, so you want to participate. Simple, 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 simple. Things to know. The last trade always fails. Let's say Amazon went to 2120, and we sold it. And then let's say it went to 2200 yesterday, and we sold it. The next one. At some point, it stops. This is not rocket science. This is simple 101. Okay, I'm not going to go through all the stuff that I go through in my video. I'm just going to answer questions. Sam, can you share your platform set up at Fidelity? I cannot because I don't want to show my system. Steve is on there, but here's what I'm going to tell you how to do it. You bring up Active Trader, right? You bring up Active Trader, and I have at the beginning, I have the Dow, then I have SPX, then I have the tick. Tick tells you what's happening instantaneously. Then I have SPX option, SPX. But here's what I do. I put an option in my watch list. It's fascinating to me how option traders don't put the price of an option in their watch list. Fascinating to me. None of this thing is rocket science, but Sam created it because everybody else is kind of a bozo. It's okay to call people bozos if they are. If you get up 15 minutes after and you have an Amazon position that's $100 and you don't get to your computer, yes, you're a bozo. Okay? And here's the thing. You can get smarter with simple logic. Simple logic. So here's what I do. I have Amazon, and then I have 3 Amazon options, strikes, and then I have a put. So I can see if the put is going up and the call isn't going up and the stock went up, that's giving you some indication, right? It's giving you some indication. Now, I'm not going to tell you my system. The new system is coded, and it's going to be a champ. And I don't know if we're going to roll it out to retail as of now. We're going to businesses, so we will see. So that's that. Okay, questions. We're moving along with questions here slowly. Is this audio only or video? Audio and video. Steve's is up there. Test. Hubai extended the closure date till the 13th. Interesting. Okay, first question. Can you address the small account strategies and mentality? You've helped me take 5K to a 20K account, and I'm very happy with your service. How do I continue? Okay. So the first thing I would do, you took 5K to 20K. I would immediately take 10K out, and you could share it with wifey, or you can put it in another account, and don't tell her about it. We've had only one wifey that was kind of completely insane here. Let me delve into that story. This guy took $10,000 to $30,000. His wife's all happy and everything, and he lost $3,000 one week, and she made him quit. So you're up $20,000, you lose $3,000. He told her she made him quit. He quit the room. He quit trading. She closed the account. I mean, completely madness, but you never know. I mean, you never know. But anyway, so take 10K out, and now you're at 10K. Before you were at 5K. Wait, relax, chill. For small accounts, depending on your risk. So here's the first question on risk. And this is the most simple question there is. if I ever talk to you, if you ever talk to me, I'm going to ask you, what is your pain threshold? And I'm not talking about if wifey's got you tied up and how many lashes you get. I am talking about what your pain threshold. What does that mean? I don't care if you have a 50,000 account, 500,000 account, or a 5K account. Pain threshold is pain threshold. At what point of the week does Steve get upset or Omid get upset if he lost money? So let's say Omid has $1 million account and Steve has a $100,000 account. Omid gets pissed off if he loses $5,000 because his wife is going to kick his ass. So that's his threshold, $5,000. Is it $5,000 a week or is it $5,000 in total? Come up with that number. So let's say, I'm just making up numbers here. Let's say the number is $10,000. His pain threshold for all his losses combined is $10,000. I can't lose more than $10,000. So the first thing you do is you divide that by 5. So that's $2,000. $2,000. $2,000 is your max loss on any particular week. Because in 5 weeks, you should have done something good. Right? That gives you 5 weeks worth of losses. That's your pain threshold. I'm not telling you took a $10,000 account. I'm just saying your pain threshold was $10,000. You may have a $100,000 account and you say, Sam, I don't want to lose $10,000. So that's your pain threshold. So you are not doing positions based on the size of your account. You're doing positions based on the size of your pain threshold. Okay? Very straightforward. Very, very straightforward. So then you divide that 2,000 by 5 or 6, and you got how much each position should be. So if your pain threshold is 10K and your weekly threshold is what, 2K, so you're doing 5 or 6 positions, $300 max. Now, let's say you decide to go buy Amazon at 6, that's okay, but your max threshold is $2,000, so that means the next position, if you're going to do 2 positions at 3, you don't do them at 3, right? Because you've done 1 at 6. That's okay. And then you go back to my video and you can go do this and watch how you should grow your account. Okay? You trade small, you trade small, you trade small, go. This is just a little bit different. It's the same thing, but it's different because it incorporates the next phase of where you don't want to be at if you get crushed. So then let's say you have 4 positions, 5 positions, and China goes to shit, and people are dying left and right, and you're like, oh shit, I lost $2,000. Okay, but your pain threshold, you still have 8 more, plus you have 90 more in your account. You just don't want to lose any more, so you kind of chill and wait and chill and wait. So the first thing you do is you want to get that $2,000 back. That does not mean you say, well, I can go, Apple's down 10, I can go buy 100 contracts at 10 cents or 20 cents, and if it just goes up 2, I got all my money back for the week. No, that doesn't work. Doesn't work. You then go in with 2, and then you're down 4, and then you're down 6, and then you're down 8, and wifey then you're in the garage. Okay. Because your car leaks oil. I mean, because you got a cheap car, because you don't know what the hell you're doing. It leaks oil, so your bed is, she threw the bed out there in the garage, and you're sitting in oil. There you go. Interesting. So don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? So, very straightforward. That's how you build it up. You build it up and you go slow. But here's the thing. When you get down, you trade less, you trade smaller, but you wait for one of Sam's Gorilla Beast numbers. And we wait, and we wait, and we wait, because you have a small account. And then you see, Sam hasn't talked about MDB for 10 weeks, but he has mentioned it on the call saying, if this ever gets to 162, it's going to roar, rocket. And you're down 2K, and you're like, okay, I'm going to go in with 500 because this is your next week, and I'm only going to do one position to start with, and that 500 immediately goes to 1,500 in 5 minutes. You sell. I don't care what your goals are. I don't care what your risks are. You sell. Why? Because you're trying to get your 2K back to start with. Now you're only down 1K. And when you're back to even, now you're back to the same strategy. But take half your money out on a small account and go slow and get back to where you were. You'll do great if that's what you do. People that fail are people that listen to Twitter. Zero Hedge. What did Sam say about Zero Hedge? Sam told you for months and months. A guy blocked me months. I said, this guy is a fearmonger. Every single article is the world ending, and now he's making up things, and now he's gone from Twitter forever. There are no less than 95% of all Twitter shorts are fearmongers. And for all you lazy people, if you go back and look at what somebody says on Twitter, you know what type of person they are. Look, listening to this week's, if John says something on Twitter and you go look at this week's and last week's tweets, it doesn't mean anything. Just hit down, and look at what he says a month ago or 2 months ago. Go down 6 months ago and the guy saying market's going to crash. And then go back to today's and he's saying market's going to crash. Block him. He doesn't change his tune. He's the same guy. Makes you do better. Okay, next question. This is going to go slow. I got to move forward. This is going too slow. Okay, that's the small account. If you had to start with 2K account, what would be your strategy? 2K account, okay, that's low. I would do 3 to 4 plays. So is the 2K 100% at risk? See, you're not giving me full information. If the 2K is fully at risk, then you do 3 plays of $100, and you say, Sam, I can't find a play for $100. Then don't do nothing. Sit and twiddle your thumbs. Twiddle your thumbs till you see a Boeing. Well, Sam says, oh my God, this UAL is at 9 cents. You go buy 10 contracts at 9 cents, $90, pops to $300, and you sell it. You made $200, and you go slow. Very doable. But I know what you would do. If you had 2K, and you're like, I have to make 2K by tomorrow. The bookie's coming after me. They're going to cut off my hands. No, that's not where you are. It can take you a week. It may take you to take 2K to 10K in a year, maybe 2 years. Then that 10K becomes 20K in a year. And now you're somewhere where you can trade more. It's okay. Why do people think that at 30 years old, they need to take their 5K of savings and take it to 50K by the end of the week? Explain this to me. Steve, can you share your TOS setup? I don't think he wants to do that, but basically he's using a 10-day 1 hour. I think he's doing a 10-day 1 hour. There it is, 15-day 1 hour. He's using a 15-day 1 hour, and he's got some pivot points in there, and he's got some clouds. Now, he will do this for members on one of the morning calls, okay? What is your strategy for picking options? Well, this is simple. I've said this 100 times, and it's 3X. Depending on what the news flow is and what you like, we don't give you picks. We just give you news. We tell you what Sam does, but doesn't mean it's the right trade for you, okay? So what we tell you is, let's say you like Apple. Well, let's say Apple is at 110 on a Thursday. Just making up stuff. And the 115s are 50 cents. You times the 50 cents by 3. This is called Sam's 3X rule. That means 150. Can the 50 cents get to 150? Well, if you bought the 315s and you had to hold it all the way through expiration, that means you add 150 to the strike price, 315s, and you get 316.50. So you got a triple. Now, nobody's telling you have to hold it till it gets to 150. I'm just telling you, does it have the ability to go 3x? So let's say you buy Amazon. So we bought Amazon, say at $7, 1950s. Times it by 3 is 21 points. Can Amazon move 21 points? Absolutely. Was a good play. If that price of that option, let's say Tesla, next week's, Tesla 293 or 5 or 690s, $10. It has to go 10 times 3 is $30. $30. Add $30 to 690, you get 720. Is 720 possible? If it's possible, then it's an okay play. If it's not possible, then why would you buy something that can't go 3x? Once again, not telling you to hold it to 3x. Just telling you it has to have the ability to go 3x. Right? Very straightforward. Like Google. Yesterday I looked at Google, and the 1530s were like $12. The 1530s are $12. You times it, it's 36. Add 36 to 1530, you got 1560. Can it get to 1560? Only if he spins off YouTube or Waymo or something like, or goes into China. Outside of that, there's no conceivable way he can get to 1560. So why would you buy that option? It's too high. Okay? I mean, because if you're going to have your losers. Say you lose 2 positions, you make 1, and the 1 goes 3x. Very straightforward. This is options 101. Things will go down. Okay? So that's how I pick. 2 weeks out, months out, etc. That all depends on when you believe it can get there. Once again, if you pick it at 3x, it doesn't have to go there by Friday. Maybe you say, well, I think it can go 3x in 3 weeks, and then you go 3 weeks out, right? And then news. Rollover. How does rollover work? So let's say you go buy, say you have the Amazons. You bought them at 100, and you roll to the next one. That means you go buy a strike higher, and you put in a portion of your profits. What portion of your profits? Once again, there's no simple answer to the portion of your profits. Why? Because do you have profits for the week? Do you have profits for that? Is your account negative? Is your account positive? Let's say your account's negative. You're down $10,000 and you made $3,000 in Amazon. Why would you roll up? You're still getting back to even, right? Get back to even. Bought 1,600 Google on Friday when it was 14.50. His price went down. The price on the option premium went up. Is this purely market makers? Well, if you typed in into my model, the software, and said what was the value of those 1,600s, I would have gave you 20 cents. I don't know what you paid, but that's what it would have come back. Okay? On Friday, you were talking about Amazon exploding up further after opening, so absolutely. What are you seeing in these cases to make you think, keep and not have a pullback? For example, Vago last Friday, you saw the explosion, told to sold immediately. What's the difference? So here's the difference. The difference is the news. Have to learn how to analyze news, and most of you will never learn this, but what is news worth? I'm telling you. If China changes the date from February 9th to February 17th, SPX should be down 100 points instantaneously. If it's down 20, that's bullish. If it's down 100, it's doing what it should do. Okay? So China we don't know if Avago, who does 60% of their business in China, is going to deliver any parts. Or they're just going to say, wait a second here, we're not manufacturing any boards. All the computers aren't going to be built. So we don't need your business for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So they're going to guide down. And then we see. And then we see. Amazon, the news is very bullish, and it's going to stay bullish. So the first time Amazon gets going, I'm pretty sure if it takes out 2109, it's going to go to 2260. That's all I'm going to say about Amazon. I didn't tell you it's going to get to 2109 yet. It may take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. What kind of funding is required to get the model if you're a fund? We can talk about it. I mean, it's probably for a fund, it's going to be about 5 to 6K a month. We'll see, depending on how many users. Bigger funds, they'll be like 150K plus profits. So different, depending on the size of your fund. There's a thing, but we will, if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. Okay, but it's genius. If you go look at it, let me tell you here. Let me give you an example. I'm going to give you an example of what the model did. Tesla is at 570 before earnings on the Thursday, and Tesla's moving. And it shows the 1600s fair value is $2, 30 points up, and they're trading for $14. So what do? You sell them at 14. So let's say you did 100 contracts, and you can divide it by 10. Okay, well, let's go divide it by 10 right now. So let's say you did 10 contracts. You sell, well, 100 is better for a fund because there's 100 contracts. You sell them. You sell 100 contracts at 14. They put 140,000 in your account, right? But you're liable for 10,000 shares of Tesla over 600, but it's trading at 570, right? So let's say you had to buy the stock at 600. 600 times 10,000 shares, $6 million divided by 2 margin. So you need $3 million to do that trade. Okay, so let's say you had that $3 million. You sell them at 14. They give you $140,000. Tesla starts to run. If it gets near 600, you just buy the stock. You buy the stock, and you give it to them. You just deliver the stock, and you keep the 14, so you kept the 140 grand. All it is, they use your money for the week. Let's say it goes down. So what happened? Because my model said the fair value was 2. Tesla popped. Those options went from 14 to 16. And then in an hour, they were 6. And in a day and a half, they were 1. And you buy them back at 1. You give them $10,000, subtract it from the 140, and you made $130,000 on your fund, mutual fund, or fund. That's why the model is so massive, because it tells you what it should be trading at. And even if Tesla went up 10 points a day, it wasn't going to get there before earnings. So it was a steal of a sell. Printing money 101. Can you roll it out to businesses but retail only to? We may do that. We'll see. I mean, it's spent a lot of money doing this thing, and it's pretty massive. And we'll see. I've learned not to share with wifey. Very nice. How do you learn to chill, not force trades? I can leave that one alone. I mean, you can have wifey tie you up. Say, honey, I'm having a bad week. I don't want to do any trades. Have her put some handcuffs on you and just walk around naked, and you can't hit the keyboard and just, I don't know. You got to chill. You got to learn not to do the trades. Sam, do you get the best price fills on buys and also get filled above the limit on sells? So yes, I have detailed that in the room, how to get better fills, and I'll detail it again Monday. If you're rolling out your own software on business only, can you also offer it to retail only? Well, we'll talk about that later. Sam, thank you for doing this webinar. I'm not a member, but a long-time follower. Question, how do you use charts? I don't use charts. I use numbers. I don't use fibs. I have a better system. I have a better model. I have a revolutionary, world-changing model. Completely different. Charts don't work. Charts work in the bearing. If there is no news and the market is just flat and stagnant, then your chart will work. If there is news, your chart will fail. I don't care what chart is bullish. If China says February 13th is now February 31st, your chart is failed. Every bullish chart goes to zero. That's it. It's all about news. So I don't use charts. Steve uses charts. Steve uses clouds. Okay? So Steve likes clouds. So he will tell you if the cloud is thick or it's thin, can it get through, can it not get through? And then you see. I use news. I know momentum. And I know the pricing of what it should be priced at. If you're closing 102 contracts, how do you do it? Okay. So here's how you do it. If something, and sometimes it's very hard. So Vago, I mean, you're sitting on 300 contracts of Vago, and it's trading at 8 to 10. In the money, it's 9. It's 9 in the money, and he won't even give you 9. So you put it in at 9, then you put it in at 750. You put it in under the ask. So then he has to fill 10. But then he takes it to 7. Then you change it to 650, and you're just happy to be out. Because you still made 200 grand. And yeah, you lost the 20 because he wouldn't fill you. But what I do if I buy, if something, let's say Regeneron is at 80 cents to $1, I put my buy in at $1.10, and I fully understand you're down 30 cents on the buy. On 100 contracts, you're down 3 grand. That's me. That's me. That's what I do. Is it the right thing to do? I don't know. For me, it's the right thing to do because I want the position. If you don't want the position or you want to nickel and dime it, you can miss a lot of stuff. That's up to you. If you want to sell on bigger sells, put it in at a minimum of 5 cents or 10 cents less than the bid, and you'll get filled. Okay? I understand about playing with profit. I joined 1 week back and knew down to have profit. What strategy should I use? So build your profit. So build your profit. Go slow, go slow, go slow. My account risk appetite is 50%. Account is 10K, so 50% risk, that's 5 grand. 5 grand divided by 5 is a grand. Divide that grand by 5 trades, $200 trades. $200 trades or 1,000 in max trades. So if you do a $300 trade and you're going to do 5 trades at $200, now you do you do one at $300 or one at $400. Now you do 4 trades, but 1,000 in max. That's it. That's it. And maybe you're down 5K or 10K or 20K. I don't care if you're down 100K. You're not going to make it back till you start building the account up. Have to start somewhere slow. That's it. Very straightforward. When you give out numbers on the morning call, can you explain the accelerator? The accelerator is where I am saying if it gets to that number, you're going to get buying panic. Doesn't happen on all the stocks. It happens on certain stocks. There's a beast number, and we give you those, and they're genius. They're like 98%, and they're stunning, and people smile when they see it. Have you learned how to be so patient and wait for your entries instead of trading to dump stuff? Same thing. Just wait. I mean, if you do, look, the biggest amount of people that overtrade, they're not people like Steve. Steve doesn't overtrade. You know why? Because he's old. He's old. He overtraded when he was 20 and 21. Now at like 85 or 90, he's like, I can't even get my hand up to hit the enter board for 10 minutes, so I can't overtrade. There you go. Any reason you use the 15-hour one day, Steve? We will get to Steve in a minute. He will tell you. Best time to buy options. Do I wait for the breakout? So once again, there's no real answer. See, these are questions that you guys are asking, but there's not a best time to buy option. The best time to buy an option is right when the news hits, or the direction of the news is going to take the market in that particular direction. Right? Does that make sense? I mean, if you know that China or the other day, the World Health Organization was going to issue a statement, and immediately he said, He said, we're declaring an emergency, and I said, SPX is down 50 in a minute. It didn't go down 50, so then in a minute I said, SPX goes positive. The news dictated it'd be down 50. It didn't go down 50, so it was going to go positive. But that was then a good time to buy because you knew it was going to go positive. Yesterday was a good time to sell stuff or buy puts because you knew it was going to go lower and lower and lower, and nothing was going to bring it back into the weekend. I told people this, weekend risk. I said it last week. I said it this week. I don't say it very often, but you have incredible risk into this whole thing in China. Apple shutting down China, more infections, deaths, China's market, more downside. Yes, lots and lots and lots of downside. And very possible that we open way down because of China market down 70 or 80, you pop 30 or 40, and then you see if the news is as bad as they say, or it's better. With a 2K account, you wouldn't play any lotto correctly. That's not correct. There is times that a lotto, like, so if I were to go buy UAL 70s on Friday and I call it a lotto, that's because if it's a lottery, you're basically trying to bet on do they stop travel more or not, and the virus get up or bad. Not a bad lotto if you believe you know the direction, kind of if you know Mahomes going to throw 4 TDs or not. So not bad. If you know news is coming, even though it's a lotto, because if it goes the other way, it's a zero. That's why it's called a lotto, right? How do you incorporate tick in your trading? So I just look at tick and see if it ever pops to like 1,200 or 1,300, instantaneously, you know that buyers are coming in. Doesn't mean it stays there, but you know that they're coming in based on the news, and you go look for the news. Do you ever use stops? No, I buy less. Can you explain what the following example means when you post? Example, Apple 300, 303, 305. So how does the beast number fit in? So beast number is all the way at 328 right now, 328. Okay? That's it, 328 and 269 on the downside. So no beast numbers don't play. That just says that if I say 300, 303, 305, that means let's say the stock's at 280. If it takes 300, then it has a possibility to get to 303. If it takes out 303, it has a possibility to get to 305. So if you're buying an option and the Apple 300s are $3 at the beginning of the week, 3 times 3 is 9, 9 added to 300 is 309, and I'm saying 303, 305, I'm not saying 309, why would you buy it? It's not 3x, right? If I like a play with you mentioned, can I get in with a further strikeout? Depends. Only if it can reach that place, right? I keep telling you, can it get there? If it can get there, yes. Yes. You can add, like, if we go buy the Tesla, making up stuff, 550s at 3, and you want to buy the 575s at 3 and 1 or 50 cents, yes, if Tesla can get there. If I tell you Tesla can get there, I'm telling you, Tesla takes out 662, it's going to be 700. Boom. I mean, 662, it's gone. It won't stop. It'll run, it'll run, it'll run, and people are going to be just crazy. Sam, I have 25,000 account on trading. I'd be pissed losing it within a week or less than 6 months. My goal is to exponentially grow to 1 to 2K. How should I manage? So, but see, you're not telling me. You'd be pissed at losing it, but where is your pain threshold? Is your pain threshold at 10K? Is it at 15K? Is it at 20K? Or is it at 2K? Have to give me the pain threshold. Can Steve explain how he is appending the stock symbol in TOS? Okay, 2 questions for Steve. The stock symbol, we'll get to that in a roll-up question. Amazon, well, what if we have profit that week? How many % of profits going? Once again, what is your account at for the year? What is it you're trying to achieve? Just because you made $100,000 on Amazon, but you're down $200,000 last year, doesn't mean that you have profit. You have profit in Amazon, but you don't have profit. Your definition of profit is different for everybody. So that you got to come up with that answer. Dave says, thanks for that. Would like to have access to the members. Absolutely going to cost more. I mean, the two unique things. They're different companies, different things. Okay? I mean, very, very different. So we'll see. Besides SPX ratio, what other ratios would you suggest? So, Rich, you can create ratios off a lot of stuff. If you see that Amazon is running, every time the Dow goes up or the SPX goes up 2 points, Amazon goes up 4. Then you know if you believe the SPX can go up another 2, that means Amazon can go up another 4. And if the SPX drops 10 instantaneously, that means Amazon, if it's at that ratio, it's going to drop 40 points, right? It dropped 10, so it can drop 40. You can create ratios for any stock on that particular day if it's working. You can try it. It's a great strategy. Anyway, we can be beta testers, possible. We're looking at it. Trying to build my account, supporting myself through school, and tips on building it. Watch my video. Go slow, go slow, go slow. And then take some shots, but wait for the numbers. People just randomly take shots. I mean, yesterday I had people telling me, I'm going to go buy the 315s for next week. We're going to pop. Why do you think we're going to pop? If the news becomes good, we're going to pop. It has to prove it. It's a prove-it market on the upside right now, right? One more question. Can you talk about what to look when you trade SPX options specifically? I look for 3X. I look for the exact same thing. How far can it drop? Where's the next level? Can the SPX go down 70 or 80? Very, very straightforward. Can you go over quick fills? No, I cannot do that here because I got some public people on that. I'll do that in the room or in the thing. Do you ever buy leaps? I do not, but people that bought leap for Tesla are good. They're smiling. Let's say you like Amazon or Tesla for next 3 months. Do you ever buy June's? Actually, both are good plays right now. Good plays. Unless you think this thing goes on and on and on and on. They're both good plays. What do the numbers mean when you given the morning call? We just discussed that. It's where it can get to next. It's where it can get to next. Okay? Sam, I'm in private trade. What trade should I be taking to build up account? Once again, can't tell you that. Chat room is the exact same trades as Twitter. You get the exact same thing. What you get in the chat room is Amazon's about to go. Amazon, if it gets this, goes to this. Amazon gets this, goes to this. SPX just dumped. Boeing just had news. You get all that information nonstop in the chat room. I just don't have time to post it all on Twitter. But anything we buy or sell, we post within a second. It's really simple. All you do in the chat room, you type in sold Amazon at 100. You do a Control C, you just copy it, and Control V. Takes less than 10 seconds. Now, does it take longer for Twitter to get that to you? I don't know, right? Are you bullish in 2020? I am very bullish once this is over. Once this is over, I'm very bullish, and you got a monster trade on the semis. You may see Avago go to 260. You may see Lam Research go down 20, 30, 40 points, and all the semis collapse. But when it's over, you got a chance to make a monster amount of money on the semis. Do you scale out of positions? I do not. Once again, my profile is different than yours. How's the model coded? Do you use Greeks? Do you buy data from exchanges? It's pretty massive. Petabytes. What is the target goal for beast numbers? There is none. It's where can it go next? A beast number tells you there's going to be a lot of buying, and then it can run. I want to recover. I have 5K account. What are your suggestions? 5K account divided by 5. If your risk is 100%. If your risk is 2,500 on the 5,000 account divided by 5, it's $500. Divide that 500 by 5 trades, and you should not be doing anything more than a $100 trade. How did you meet Steve, Omid, and Derek? Well, Steve was like on Twitter, he's just like, who wants to come take shots? And I'm like, okay, let's go do shots. Omid is like, Omid's the big O. He's like, he goes, even though I hate Dallas, I'll just tell Sam I like Dallas, and then Sam will like me. There you go. Cowboys. There you go. Interesting. I'm only on private Twitter. Can I listen to the morning call? I have to talk about that. We did a special for that back then. Is there a general rule of thumb for options pricing being overvalued? There is none. Are you trading Monday's hard trade premiums are very high? So here's the thing I get a lot in the room, and I get on private Twitter. I get this at 2 o'clock, an hour before the market close on Friday. Sam, what's the best trade? Why would you ever ask what's the best trade? Did you not pay attention for the last hour or 2 or 3? I'm just going to randomly give you a best trade. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Okay? So keep an eye on that. Good cause, I have SPI puts. So when you say SPX should go down 100 points, so here's the thing. If the virus is bad and 1 million people are going to die, should the SPX not go down 100 points? If Iran bombs U.S., and U.S. is going to bomb them back and you got World War III, should the SPX not go down 100 points? Why would it go down 50? Right? I mean, this is so simple, but I don't understand why nobody understands that. Hey, Sam, any suggestions on when you take profits? So when you take profits is depending on where you are.
I'm on it. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Sorry about that. I understand the buy less strategy, but are there instances when you should bail? Yeah, if you don't think the position could get there, bail. Absolutely. Absolutely. Friday, you could have bailed on everything because it wasn't going to get there. Right? There's no conceivable way that certain things, that Apple was going to go to 220 or 230 or 320 or 330, right? Absolutely. There's a level where the VIX is. I don't look at VIX. Steve looks at VIX. Everybody looks at this different stuff. I look at premiums. To me, everything I do is based off a premium. Can you explain the dotted line on the chart? So Steve, I hope you're writing this down. Dotted lines. I think they're regression points or pivot points. Think Google next week can have a huge beat? Don't know. So here's the thing. People are buying Google. What if the market opens down 80 points and Google goes down 50 points, but you had already bought the 1550s because you had to be in it? And then Google goes to 1500, it goes from down 50 to up 50, and that's what it does for earnings. It ran 100 points and you lose money. Why would you think Google can be like Amazon? So here's the question on Google. Do you think they're going to spin off one of their things? Or do you think they're going to go into China? Or is it status quo? That's your thing. If you have that answer, then you can do better. Okay? How do you know which stocks move? That is something that takes many, many years. What is SPX ratio? We'll define it in the room again. How does the Dow and SPX AI correlate to market trends? Yeah. What is the importance of 5 a.m. bid numbers? Can't talk about that on this. We can talk about it in the room. Does Delta? I don't care about Delta. See, I don't look at that. You can look at Delta, and you may say, well, the Delta tells me how much it moves, and I'll tell you the Delta is garbage. The only thing that tells you how far it's going to move is what the premium is. I mean, if he's selling the Google, 100, 200 points up at $3, and he thinks it can get 200 points up. If he's selling him at 5 cents, he sure doesn't believe it. Doesn't mean it can't happen. Do you ever do iron condors? No, but Rich actually legs into all that stuff. I think your Twitter service might be right. It's up to you. However you do you use Twitter for chat? No. Chat is in a chat room. Okay? What are you using to hedge? So why do you need a hedge? If you made 100 grand on Amazon and you only have 10 grand in positions, why do you need a hedge? Once again, simple questions. Just wondering why you use Fidelity. Because I get great prices at Fidelity and great fills, and I know everybody, and everybody there knows me. And there you go. So if I'm doing a $100 trade, how do I pick the right trade? You got to wait, got to wait, got to wait, got to wait. You listen to the call, you listen in the room, and you wait and see what's possible, and you wait, and then you do it, right? People need to understand options are short-term gains. If I made 300K on Amazon, my tax will be close to 150 in my bracket, so I can take more risk on the other trades. Because if I lose 100, absolutely, great comment. I do that all the time because I say if you're up $100,000 into December and you owe 40 grand, you can take more risk. Absolutely, great comment. Can you talk about option skew for out of the money calls? I noticed you comment on this going. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that right now, but thank you. We'll do that later. Can Tesla go down? Tesla, if it takes out 618, it's going to crumble. What's it going to do? It's going to crumble. Do you believe in theory that premiums are high first hour? Premiums are high when, I don't know, when VIX moves or when things are cratering up or down, and premiums are high. For a slowdown exponential rate, we should have 16,000 infections. Yesterday it closed under 100. Here's the thing. If you look at that thing, people are forecasting, 5,000 people to be infected within 2 weeks. To die in 2 weeks. So if you have less than 500 by the end of the week, I would think that's slowing down. But I don't know. I'm completely open-minded. I don't know. Steve may know. Tesla 500 or 78. If 618 breaks 550, if 662 breaks, it's gonna rocket. You guys are impressive. Well, I do a tremendous amount of work. Are you consider upgrading chat? Can't open. The chat can't open in browser history. I was in your room. Yeah, we already upgraded it. Okay. So now it all works. Which indicators do you use? How long do you think the virus will last? I have no idea. Will you be on fast money? Probably not. I give them too much shit and I think too fast. And when somebody like Tim says, I think you should short Tesla, I just say, but you said that 2 years ago. Why do you keep telling me the same thing you said 2 years ago? Sam, you offer fantastic service. Greatly appreciate. You do not have to share advice. It certainly helps if you have more than 25K in your account. Absolutely. No. Your day trading rule, change it to a cash account, and you have no problem doing as many day trades as you want. Cash account. What do you think of thoughts on LK? LK is in trouble until this thing gets better, and then we see. Most challenging period of your career was in 2001 when the World Trade Center got hit. Let's go to Mr. Omid. Words of wisdom on all the questions you heard and comments and your style. Talk a little bit about your style.
Yeah, good. Good recap on everything, and I'll start with a few things. So first, your comment about getting up in the morning, and I've been doing this for 20 years, most of it professionally, and I have to tell you that I'm on the West Coast. I get up at 4:30 every morning, or maybe a little bit before then. And market opens at 6:30 here. So in those 2 hours, there's a lot of work that goes basically into the preparing for the day. And so when Sam says getting up 5 minutes before open, or not being prepared, and it's very important. You have to take this very seriously. It's your money that that you're investing in, and so take it seriously. When you go out and buy a car or a house or any other product, you do a lot of research, right? You read reviews, you do your homework, before you buy a car, you know what you're getting into. If you're getting up, right before the open, you are trading blind. I mean, you don't know what's going on, what the news is, on any positions that you have in there that could have been a major downgrade or an upgrade, or I mean, you're basically flying blind. And by the time you get your bearings right, it could be too late, right? So I mean, people get to work at the open, So it's very important, to take this seriously, So that's one thing. And the other thing is your comments. I mean, that on Amazon was very interesting. So I was restricted in Amazon. I couldn't trade it. But congrats to everyone that played it. What a week. A very difficult week for the market in general. But if you were with Sam and you're trading Amazon and Tesla and a few other names, you had a great week. So that's great. But if you didn't play Amazon on the first layer when the stock is up, 150, 200 points almost, it's tough to get involved in. Now, emotionally, you want to get involved because you're like, man, I missed this huge move, but maybe I can get another 10 points or something. You're pushing it, So typically, even if I could trade it and I didn't trade it, I probably wouldn't take that second layer, and I would emotionally would just have to admit that I missed it, and that I'm going to basically move on and look for the next trade. And you know what? There's always the next trade. It's because, and this is what's great about the market, why we get up every morning and do this, because like I always say, every day is a new day. Every day you have a new opportunity. So don't forget that, and try to manage your emotion, your biases. These are the stuff that I was able to get a good handle on, and it's helped me to be more successful trading. Managing my biases, my emotions. Emotions is different, but biases, that's completely different. A lot of people have a negative or even like an extremely positive bias. And when you're trading based on that, it's in your head, like Sam says, and you're basically trading based on that bias. So if you have a negative bias on the market, you think it should crash because it ran too much, and that's your reason on why you're being negative, then you're probably leaning more towards puts, or you're not participating, in calls, when the market's going up. So it affects you. It affects your trading, and so again, it's very important. You have to manage your bias. It's very important. And if you need help, managing your bias, stop, paying attention to all the negative headlines and see what that does for you for a month or something, or a few weeks, because maybe the stuff that you're reading is kind of swaying you in one direction or another. On one of the morning calls, Steve put up some bullet points, and this was a recap of 2019 headlines. And the amount of negative headlines in 2019 about, if you recall, the yield inversion, recession, all this stuff that was out there, I can't even recall. And then the market was up, like 29% or 30% S&P 500. So, it had a great year. And these headlines were coming from some really big reputable places or reputable people that have been doing this for a while. But, but they were all false. But, the headlines are great because they grab your attention, you read it, and you're like, oh, man, that's, that guy has a really good point. And then you trade based on that bias. So, or whether that bias is coming up from your own opinion or not. So I manage that. I try to manage that pretty well. I'm very agnostic to it now. And I just basically pay attention to two items for me. One is news flow, and price action. If a stock gets an upgrade from not just any upgrade, but let's say like, Apple gets an upgrade from Katie Huberty from Morgan Stanley. She's the X on Apple. And people pay attention to what she says. She's upgrading the stock, and the stock is down that day. That's telling me something. Okay, so that price action is telling me something. If there is right now the news flow with the coronavirus, so that news flow is affecting the market. Now, whether this is a big deal or not, I have no opinion on it. Like Sam said, I don't know. I'm just reading based on what the headlines are. But I'm watching the price action to see how the market is reacting to those headlines, not what I think of them or what I believe is right or wrong. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what Steve or Sam or anyone else thinks. It matters what the market thinks about those headlines. And so right now the market cares about those headlines, and it's telling you that it cares. So then that makes me a bit more cautious. Still, I haven't really gotten too many puts. Maybe a few opportunities here and there. But I'm trading maybe smaller. Because now we're in a headline whipsaw type of market again, just like we were with the China trade, if you recall, for most of 2019. Whether tariffs were going up or down, or there's a lot of headline whipsaw around those events, especially on important dates and so forth. So these are the two things that I pay attention, and everyone has their own thing that they use, and if it works for you, I think that's great. The important thing is that it has to work for you, and if it's not working for you, then you have to change it. And Sam preaches this all the time as well. If something doesn't work, you have to change it. You cannot continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over again if you're getting the same results and you're not happy about those results. So this stuff is very important. And there was a book that I read. It's I forget the name of the book, but maybe I can put it in the room on Monday. It's actually called The Psychology of Trading, and this guy is a psychologist, and he basically interviewed or talked to a lot of traders, and the one thing he said is it's very interesting, is that if you really want to find out all the things that are wrong with you, become a trader. Because it just comes out. Whether you notice it or not, that's a different question. So again, very important. And then as far as like what stocks or what things to pick, and I think Sam covered that pretty well. Like Sam doesn't go and trade PayPal, for example. But if the news changes on it and the volatility picks up in the stock and it's worth looking at, then yes, we'll take a look at it. But for the most part, if you're trading weekly options, you have to pay attention to the names that are in the news, that are moving, that have the capability of doubling or tripling your investment. So that's why sometimes if we're over focused on some of the names that that are familiar to most people, like Apple and Tesla and Amazon and Google and so forth, that there's a reason for it. So Apple, for example, we didn't trade it as much until I think the October timeframe. And when you look at the chart is when it started taking off, because why? Because the news flow started changing on it, and the iPhone 11 started making a big impact, and the news flow just kept coming in positive and positive and positive, and so it basically made it an interesting investment. And then again, going back to news flow and price action, positive news flow, positive price action in the stock, and so it's been a good investment really since October, so these are some of the things that I look at, and and to keep it short, again, you have to be prepared. You have to take this seriously. You cannot get up and trade blind in the morning. You'll make a mistake. I mean, if I have something going on in the morning, or I can't be prepared for the open, I tend not to trade as much that day, or not at all, because I have no idea what's going on. it's not a 1 week worth of time where where you haven't paid attention. You're a week behind. 1 day is worth like basically a month, in my opinion. Like, so if you haven't paid attention with what happened on Friday, a lot had happened on Friday. Well, market was obviously down 60 points on Friday, and there's a lot of stuff going on, right? So that's just one example. So again, these are some of the things, and Sam does a great job teaching people in the room as to what to pay attention to, and how to kind of emotionally manage your trades and your biases and so forth. And you don't get that in a lot of other places. Like I said, a lot of other places teach you the mechanics of how to put on a trade and take it off, and how to pick a butterfly and spreads and all of that stuff, but no one will tell you what to look for in the market, how to manage your biases, and all the psychological stuff that actually is I'd say like 50% plus of it when you're trading. So hope that helps.
Okay. Very good, very good. Let's get to Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve is he's like a technician. I mean, he's scouring every single play that Mahomes has done this year to figure out where the edge is. I don't think he knows. Okay. Mr. Steve, what's going on?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, great. I don't know if everybody can. Somebody asked a question, can this chart be a 1 day, 1 minute? If you're crazy, it can be. Yes. Because if you watch stocks constantly on a 1 minute chart, it will make you crazy. Now, can you do it? You can do it for 6 minutes, the first 6 minutes of the day, and the last 6 minutes. But I would only do it the first 6 minutes. The other thing that we're talking about is, what am I looking at? For years and years, I used the 10-day, 1 hour, for reasons I can't get into unless you're in the room. We changed that to a let me get back to it, to a 15-day, get to that 15-day, 1 hour, and it may change again. So everything's subject to change. But let's get this up. I'll get back to a 1 hour. Come on here. And then somebody asked what the different things are in here, and I put that up for a minute for those that saw it. Otherwise, I'll put it up here again. So, well, 1 hour. Here we go. Okay. So basically, on the chart, these are called pivot points. This is the pivot. This is resistance 1, 2, and 3. Support 1, 2, and 3. This is linear regression channel 100. These are all on toss. This is the bottom of the channel, top of the channel, and then what we have is a 50-day moving average and a 200-day moving average. These are key things. This is the Ikimoto, tongue-tied today, cloud. If you put this cloud up, you'll see a lot of stuff, a lot of different lines. To me, it's too busy, and also toss, because of the number of servers they have now, gets bogged down if you have too much on your screen. Once it's taken over by Schwab, they'll buy more servers and it will get better. But right now, it's pretty bad. So I look at what's different than Sam and I. Sam goes strictly off of his model and premium, and he does a better job of that than anybody on the planet. And what I look at every day is what Sam's going to play, what he's looking at. We look at news. We look at a lot of different things. I can't cover all the news that we look at. That's kind of proprietary. The thing that I consider a chart is a roadmap. It's a roadmap, but again, you're going down the road. Your roadmap's perfect. It falls in front of you, or there's an accident. All right. So the reason we're in a room is that so people can say there's an accident ahead. An accident ahead may be that China just announced that there was 5,000 people that died, or there's a report that they said that there's only 250, but somebody found a morgue with 50,000 in it. So right now, and I'm a total history buff. I read a lot. I read at least 25 papers every day. And so I try to follow all the news. I'm a political junkie and a historian. So I look at different things that are going on. And some of the things like, and Sam will say, what do you think about this contagion? I'll say, well, if we go back to 103 years ago, the Spanish flu, which was just considered a flu, killed 50 million people in the country. I know that by heart. I know some of the things that they did to cure it. So I'm kind of like Mr. Answer Man when it goes to that. And also I read local papers. I'm in the Seattle area, so I know Boeing inside and out, Microsoft. I play only 3 to 5 earnings a year because I'm a retired guy. I'm looking for steady income. I'm not trying to hit a home run because I don't want to lose a bunch. Will I put $100 on something or 500 at times? Yes. Now, the first earnings I played this year was Microsoft, and that's because I had an edge by reading the local newspapers and what they were saying and what they were getting from interviews and feedbacks, and then also friends and family worked either for the company or around it, and certain things that are said. So that's what I go on there. But other questions, Sam? Or there were some other things that I might have missed on?
No, that's it. Just just general question on strategy. My strategy is play small, build profits, take huge shots. That's me.
That's the only way to play it. That's the only way to play it. Again, I'm retired, so I'm constantly playing small. I'll load up. If there's key days, when there's key days that come in, which we had back-to-back key days, which I call a Big Mac day, where I knew that Thursday was going to be a big play, and I knew that Friday was going to be a big play. Thursday's big play was down turning up. Friday's big play was straight down. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you guys both remember this. I said before the open, this looks like back in 18, in November of 18, when we went down 650 points. So I think we could go down 650 points today. We went down how many points? 652 points. So you have to have a pretty good memory. Now, I remember what I did when I was 5 years old, but sometimes I can't remember what I had for breakfast. That's part of being old. But remembering all these dates and different times and things like that, but short-term, little things like that.
Okay, so real quick here, people are sending me messages that China already changed the date till the 13th. Jesus, I haven't heard that yet, but if they've done that, then you're in a world of hurt. Two other things, do they cancel the market opening tomorrow? Possible. And somebody else is sending a thing here about China confirms H5N1 bird flu. Really? What is going on in this country? Is this true? I have no idea. No idea.
Yeah, I haven't read anything yet today. I'm down at the shop that I work at. Oops. Hold on.
It looks like the China market will open. Their stock market will open on Monday, but they're allowing financial stability as they brace for a potential sell-off on Monday when they reopen. Remember, they've been closed, so this will be this will be watched. It looks like Apple is closing some stores in China too.
Depending on if you work for a brokerage, Sam doesn't work for anybody but myself, so I can do whatever I want.
Okay.
It's not allowed to do that. The flu still kills thousands. China's Hubei promise extends New Year to February 13th. Wow. I'm telling you, this is worse than you think. Interesting. What news outlets? We use lots of them. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay. I'm back. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm at the shop and a customer came. So I'm ready. Ask me the question again, please.
Oh, just this H5N1 news now, and China.
Okay.
China is already in some provinces extending till the 13th. Let me tell you, you are going to get an opportunity to completely make a massive move up after the drop stops. But if they take this out till February or March, all the semiconductors are going to drop 20%. Easy. LRCX at 260, 250. Wow. Amazing. Okay, thanks, everybody. Everybody have a great trading week. Wow. We're going to be ready. This news just keeps getting worse and worse. Interesting. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Owen.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.